Good morning, welcome to Route 25 of my Wainwright challenge. Today I'm parked at Chapel Bridge car park, the other side of Catsbells, and I intend to walk 6 Wainwrights today. Catbells, Maidenmore, High Spy, Dalehead, Hinesgarth and Robinson. Now if I can get around in time and have plenty of daylight, I'm going to nip round to Rothwaite and then I'm going to climb up Castle Crag as well. But we'll see how the day goes, because a bit later than I anticipated this morning. So we walked back up the lane to Little Town, and there's a finger post here which we're taking, signpost Housegate, and we're going to head up to the Col underneath Catsbells. So that's the we're on the underside of Catsbells. There's Catsbells up there. We're going up to the Col up there between Catsbells and Maidenmore. So the path ramps quite steeply, as you'd imagine. There's a series of cairns going through this scree type. Well, it's not a boulder field, it's just loose rock really, heading up towards the Col. So at the top of the scree, cairn marking it, there's a fork in the track, grassy fork. I'm going to hang left, head up towards Catsbells. So that's Catsbells. Looking forward to the view over Keswick. It's a very popular hill. In fact, I think I read somewhere it's the most walked hill in the Lake District. I should get a view of my campsite from up here. There we go, Catsbells. As I say, very popular, lots of people. There's Grasmere. There's a caravan site over there in the distance. There's Maidenmore, we're heading to next. In fact, you can see the full circular we're going to do. Big horseshoe. So we're retracing our steps back down to this Col. Then up Maidenmore. You can see a path cutting up the side of it. Plenty of people on it. I suppose it is a Sunday, so I should expect to see quite a few people today. It's another very well walked path, which is good for navigation, I suppose, and it makes the going reasonably quick. So I've walked past that cairn over there, which I assumed was a way marker, and I'm now at the top, the high point of Maidenmore, called Bull Crag, which is here. So I'm tempted to say I'm at the top. However, I may have already passed the top. Anyway, Maidenmore, how spectacular. Wow, look at that. Bathwaite, Skiddaw, Lancaster over there. It's stunning. So next we're going over there to High Spy. There's High Spy up there. As I suspected, there's fewer people the further around this circuit I get. I think a lot of people climb the first two and then head back to Keswick. So there's High Spy in the distance, a little cairn. That's Dalehead. High point of the day. Right up there. That one's next. So the cairn over there, it's the top of High Spy. There is another cairn at that top there, which some people thought was the top, but it's not. So I upset them when having a chat. So this is High Spy. See the route we're going ahead. I'm going to do a horseshoe around the other side. Weather's coming in. Hopefully we'll get round in and stay dry. So the plan is to drop down to Dalehead Tarn, as you can see down there, and then we're going to pick up a path up to the top of Dalehead. So you can see the path wrapping round to the tarn, and then there's several people there climbing up the side. Looks to be quite a sharp, steep ascent to Dalehead. We're heading up this very steep path here, but just look around. What a fabulous view of High Spy. Wow, here we are, Dalehead, and look at this. Isn't that spectacular? Yes, I can see why they call it Dalehead. So over there's Hindesgarth, and in the distance behind is Robinson. They're the other two Wainwrights of the day. So we're at the high point. So we're just dropping down or round the top, as it were, and I can see Buttermere down there in the bottom. I'm going to skirt down, and you can see a fork in the path ahead. I'm going to take the right hand fork and head over to the next top. So I'm just coming up to the fork in the track. Going to the right to Hindesgarth up there. I'll drop down the other side of the ridge. Hopefully out of the wind the other side. Hindesgarth. Oh, must be a viewpoint at the end. I think I'll go to the viewpoint before we head back over there to Robinson. Oops, you can see where we've come from now. Cat Bell, Maidenmoor, High Spy, Dalehead, and that's the last one over there that we've got to do yet. This is a view at the end of Hindesgarth. That was the top over there, but what a fabulous view, eh? Yeah, back, this is definitely the top of Hindesgarth. Dalehead's looking very imposing over there. So now I'm back up here. We'll head back, skirt round and head over to the top of Robinson. So we're skirting down this cliff edge, and we're heading up to Robinson. Now I had intended hugging the ridge line, as it were, and then going along the top to the top, but I can see a path which isn't shown on the map, cutting right across in a direct line to the top, which I think I'm going to do, try and save a bit of time. It's a very steep, grassy bankside that we're climbing up. Makes a change not having erosion control, as we've had most of the day, and big fat footpaths. So here we are at the top of Robinson. Wow, that was a bit of a slog. Oh, here's the other path that I could have taken, but I opted to take a shortcut. I have to say, we're only 20 metres lower than Dalehead, but looking back, Dalehead looks absolutely huge compared to here. Let's get back down the valley. So we're heading off of Robinson. It's trying to snow. It's been cold all day, but it's been on and off raining probably for the last hour, but all of a sudden the rain has now turned into a sleety type snow. So luckily I've done the circuit now. I've just got to get back down off the hill. So beat the weather at least. So it's been very steep and slippy and craggy, this descent. You can see we're still following the ridge line, and I'm getting to the point where I can take a right and drop down to the this little reservoir thing down there, and then follow the valley bottom back to the car. That's the plan anyway. I'm just looking back up at Robinson. As I said, it was a cliffy, slippy, steep descent. That gives you a better aspect. Like I say, we've still got these slippery rocks to get down before I drop down to the valley bottom. So I've got to the point where I'm going to fork off and drop down into the valley now. Let's pass that little tree. I can see a very faint track dropping down towards the little reservoir, and we'll follow the valley bottom. So we're in the valley bottom now. I'm going to follow this this footpath along all the way back to the car, probably 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles, I would imagine. It's quite a nice view of Cat Bell over there, first one of the day. Can't see any of the others because we're hidden in this valley, and as I say, the weather up there at Robinson is atrocious. Look at the old bells on the old chapel. Just parked at Chapel Bridge around the corner. Hi, welcome to route number 25 of my Wainwright challenge. Today I've parked at Chapel Bridge car park. There's a honesty box with £3 donations, and it's Sunday the 30th of January. I have to say it was blue sky, bright sunshine when I set off this morning. I think by the time I got to the top of Cat Bells, the sun had gone in and we're in cloud, and eventually rain as the day went on. The climb up to Cat Bell, you climb up to the col in between, and it's a nice steady gradient. It does make it hike quite quickly. Easy path. In fact, most of the day there are massive paths, so the navigation is very easy, and indeed it is quite easy to make progress quite quickly despite the gradients. Cat Bell, fantastic views, absolutely stunning. You can see why it's probably the most walked hill in the lakes, looking over Derwentwater, Keswick, etc. Again, I retraced my step back to the col and went up Maiden Moor. It's quite steep at first, very well walked path, and it plateaus out at the top with quite a wide expanse. Now I went to the high point, Bull Crag. No cairn there, but I believe that was the top. Now there was a cairn I passed earlier on, which I'm pretty certain wasn't the top. So I actually went to the high point. From there you can see High Spy. Very nice, very steady walk, easy to make the gradient, pretty easy path really. Stunning views, huge cairn at the top, probably probably the biggest cairn of the day. I can see why they call it High Spy. Fantastic vista. This is where the walk gets more tricky, let's say. From there you've got to descend to the next col, which is quite a steep descent, very rocky. All of a sudden the nice big paths have disappeared, and you're back into more paths that I'm used to, let's say. And you drop quite steeply and quite a long way down to the tarn, Dalehead Tarn. There's some nice little outcrops of crags and things where you can shelter from the wind if you want a sandwich or anything there, which I did. Very cold today, really cold wind, so yeah, I needed to get out of it. So Dalehead, high point of the day. I'll say it was very, very steep going up. It looked steep, and often things that look steep aren't that steep, but this was as steep as it looked. But again, erosion control path, very good path going up, and it made progress quite comfortable, I thought. And indeed, on the you can see why they call it Dalehead once you get to the top. The view up the dale was absolutely stunning. You can see all the climbs that you've done, and indeed all the climbs that you're about to do. High point of the day, and probably the highlight of the day. Hind's Garth was the next one, and there's a relatively easy path dropping off of Dalehead. You can see it skirting round, and you can see the path going right the way up to the top of Hind's Garth. No problem at all. I have to say, once I got to the top, there was a much bigger cairn a little bit further down, which I went to, but basically that was just a vista and a viewpoint. From there you have to retrace your steps ever so slightly before you can veer off right and drop down to the next col, which again is quite a drop. And then you head up to Robinson. Now I took a path which skirted across the hillside, a very steep and a very grassy path, but I wouldn't say it was any less steep than the path going up the ridge line. I only took it because it seemed to cut a corner. It was nice actually to be on an old-fashioned normal footpath, no erosion control, quite grassy, and it made its height very quickly. The weather had started coming in on Robinson, so it started raining, it started sleeting, trying to snow. There is a storm forecast, mainly in Scotland, but I know the tail end of the storm was going to hit the Lake District, and I think we'd started getting it there. So the most difficult part of the day was actually the descent off of Robinson. It was extremely rocky in places, craggy, very, very slippy and very, very steep. So you were pretty much scrambling down these steep descents. So yeah, I really needed to be careful, particularly when you're on your own, in case you slip. And I have to say, it was very, very busy most of the day, apart from the last couple. And in Robinson, I didn't see anybody at all. So there you go. Now, as you descend down Robinson, you can see the valley below that you need to get to, and eventually get to a point where you can see a very small little reservoir thing, and you can cut down to that, which I did, and then you can get onto a really, really nice valley path, which eventually becomes a road, and it takes you all the way back to where we parked the car. Absolutely fantastic circular. Really, really, really enjoyed it. It's only 11.5 miles round. There's a lot of climbing. There's 3,785 feet of ascent, but the paths made progress quite quick, so I did it in 5 hours. That's including a sandwich stop. It was a very nice day. Now, I had intended, given enough daylight and time, weather permitting, to go up Castle Crag, but the storm had started. There was heavy rain, and I probably could have done it, but I decided I didn't want to, so I didn't do Castle Crag.